All right, we are doing a live episode of Coffee and UFOs today, and my guest for a cup of coffee and UFOs is world-renowned astro-quantum physicist, two-time Olympic gold winner, international man of mystery, the real-life inspiration for Indiana Jones, and the second person to make the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs without using the Millennium Falcon, the one and only Kevin Hale. Hey, Kevin, welcome to Coffee and UFOs, brother.
ABS, how are you on this Sunday?
Good. Did I get your bio right?
You covered most of the food groups. There's probably a couple things you left off, but it was enough to get me going.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I didn't want to, overdo it and intimidate people. So
that's true. One more might have pushed us over the edge. But
yeah,
here we are.
All right, thanks, man. So why don't you tell people a little bit about Universal Secrets and and your interest in ufology, and then we'll get to the questions.
Universal Secrets is a paranormal theme show that I co-host with my bestie Tiffany Mack. We've been part of the KGRA family with Universal Secrets since August of 2020, so we're kind of getting close to the 1-year anniversary. Universal Secrets itself has been in existence since March of 2020. We did 7 episodes with a third partner, which was audio only. And then during that time, I was having some conversations with KGRA and the notion of bringing our show to that platform, and we went with it. Due to the schedule, it now being a live show on a Tuesday night at 8:00. Our third guy has younger children, so it and his wife works at night, so he had to bow out. So Tiffany and I, proceeded with his blessing and support with Universal Secrets, and we are technically a paranormal show, but most of our content does revolve around UFOs, aliens, the whole ufology thing. Tiffany, she's been very open about it now, is an experiencer.
Yeah.
I'm an enthusiast, and together we, I won't say magic, it might be a little cheesy, but together we got a little.
It's magical.
It's got a little bit of a vibe. We actually have known each other for 5 years, and I do another podcast, and that's how from that podcast we did kind of a one-off, as you will, where Tiffany and I was just talking paranormal stuff. This was in 2016. We had a nice little run, and she had to jump off that for some personal things to take care of, and then we reconnected and continuing our talk, our paranormal talk.
Yeah, and I love your paranormal.
Tiffany Tuesday.
Tiffany, what can you explain Tiffany Tuesday?
Well, it's Tiffany will come on, and it started with like her lips. She wears red lipstick, so that kind of has a narrative in its own. My candles also have a narrative of its own. I think Tiffany Tuesday, in fairness, it's a T Tuesday, and my ego is fine. Let it be Tiffany Tuesday if that's what it takes to get the viewers in. We can
unfortunately, we don't have any days with a K in it, so
that's all right. And
we could do Hale Thursdays, but then it still doesn't roll.
It doesn't roll.
Yeah.
My grandson calls it date night with Tiffany to me, for me, and which I'll own that too. So I'll get to have a date with her at least once a week. But she's great, and I wouldn't, if I'm going to do a paranormal show, it would be with her or not. And so, but kind of going back to the paranormal enthusiast in me, I was kind of thinking about this, gathering my thoughts before the show, and I remind myself that Kolchak, the Night Stalker. Do you remember that series?
Oh yeah.
That's was really my first paranormal show.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm I date myself here, but I was relatively young when it was it was on, and I was just fascinated. That whole unknown, and it wasn't. I mean, it was they covered all the paranormal food groups, so that, and then X-Files, where the whole really the UFO, that mythology of
Yeah.
aliens and colonizations was the premise of the show, and yeah, that was my go-to. That's still arguably my all-time favorite show.
Well, I know, Chris. Well, cheers to the X-Files.
Oh, let's do this.
And you got some southern tea, right?
Sweet tea here
Sweet tea.
with the
All
lemon. Right. Yeah, it is a southern kind of thing. So it has to be sweet, not unsweet. So.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not southern. And I'm drinking Black Oil of the North. That would be deep, dark espresso.
How much caffeine is in that thing? It's leaded, right? It's not unleaded.
Oh no, it's extra leaded.
Yeah. At 5, what time? We're at 5-ish on a Sunday. That's not gonna keep you up, is it?
No. Oh God, no. When I do paranormal now, I'm drinking till 9:30 at night. Now, granted, I won't go to bed till like 1, but still.
Yeah. But yeah, okay.
And I just want to say hi to Maria, who joined in. Thanks for joining into this live edition.
Fellow Kentuckian. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So what about yourself? I mean, you're an enthusiast, right? But why? Have you seen a UFO?
I mean, I've seen things in the sky that I couldn't explain. It was like nothing that, nothing like a cigar shaped or some triangle object that was under some cloaking thing. I guess if to answer the question, have I really seen something identified? I think.
So are you saying you have standards?
Yeah, I mean, no, not every light in the sky is a UFO, or every bump in the night is paranormal. I'm actually, I'm more skeptical than not. But I love the conversation, and you're doing your thing, and how the UFO business has picked up in the last few years.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad it has, and I do think that more and more you'll get mainstream reporters and anchors taking it seriously and reporting on it. And I think in the community there's this weird fear of, like, if mainstream journalism, jumps into this pool, then there's not going to be room for us anymore. And honestly, I mean,
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah. And first of all, like, we talk about some really wild out there stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Tiffany being an experiencer, her experiencers, you and I both know there's no way CNN is going to touch that for another like 10 plus years, right? It's going to take like some like on camera captured extraterrestrial or first contact of some sort before they go down that road.
They're not going to have a 2021 version of Barney and what was her name?
Betty Hale.
Betty on mainstream news. They're not going to do that now,
right?
Yet, yeah. But they will. I think they're going to.
I think they will. I think we're like 5 to 10 years away before that happens. And it was kind of flirted with in the 90s. I mean, we saw that. Sure, it was Oprah. Sure, it was Phil Donahue. But then you did have some news segments that interviewed Bud Hopkins, John Mack. And so the abduction thing was kind of sort of taken seriously. And that faded, and that just became Snickers and tongue in cheek.
With the X-Files music playing in the background.
Yeah.
At the same.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. That always, I mean, it was cute for a minute, but it's like, please.
Yeah. But they're not playing the X-Files music in the background today.
Not anymore. But I was just talking to Cheryl Costa, and that show is actually going to air tonight on KGRA. It was a pre-recording. Okay. And I was upset
she's great.
Yeah. And she and I both saw this segment with Aaron Burnett, where Aaron Burnett is doing the old
the
UFO. Okay.
I haven't seen that one.
And she was doing it was like, is this 1999 again? Like, what are you doing? Because her co-anchors are taking it serious. Her other anchors on that network are taking it seriously.
Cuomo had who was it? Sean Underhill. Is that
Sean Underhill?
Yeah, and Chris Mellon on, and Cuomo took it serious. Anderson Cooper is I mean, they're kind of now getting into it. too. I'm not the biggest Fox News guy, but when Tucker Carlson is interviewing, doing a has a UFO guest, I'll tune in. I'll watch it.
Sure, of course.
But to his credit, he's one of the first of the mainstream media people who was pushing, getting it out there.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair though, Larry King, before everybody,
Mm-hmm.
he was probably the most mainstream news talking head radio host. Because that was Tucker Carlson. I don't put him in like the official news category. It's like a talk show kind of thing,
Well,
right?
do you put? Would you still put Larry? I put Larry King in that same genre or whatever.
Well, it's not like it's not desk news, right? It's not
Right.
It's what's the word for it? I don't know, but it's more conversational journalism.
Right. Yeah.
It's editorial journalism.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of opinion is mixed in there, and that's fine. I mean, Larry King was great at that too.
Right.
But within that category, he was doing that years before everybody else.
No, that's fair. And he's now you say that, he's an enthusiast too. I think he's a believer because you're right. He's had a lot of UFO shows, topics, and guests on. And I got to throw this. I feel like I'm starting to hijack your show. Pardon me. But I love our conversations.
Yeah.
And I love throwing.
That's why we do Coffee and UFOs. There's no formality here.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's good stuff here. And again, cheers to you.
Thank you.
Happy Memorial Day.
Yes, happy Memorial Day.
Weekend.
Indeed, yes. And to anyone listening out there, thank you for your service and for those who have given their life.
Absolutely.
My father is a Marine, so I have a deep respect for that.
Mm-hmm. My father, Army guy too. So, we're kind of touching on the whole news narrative.
Mm-hmm.
What is Well, let me give you my take, and then I want to see how you feel.
Sure.
With the Jeremy Corbell's, Lou Elizondo, a lot of the people who have really been in the media eye, in front of the camera for the most part since 2017.
I have to interrupt. I'm correcting you. My father said still a Marine. I think I used past tense.
Real respect.
So bad on me, man. Bad on me. Thanks. Love you,
Always,
Dad.
yeah. That's a damn good point. Yeah. So cheers to that. Yeah. Great point.
Sorry, Kevin. Go ahead.
So, I've seen a lot of people in the UFO community go on the attack of Jeremy and Lou, and it for me, I can't help to think, is there some jealousy involved here? And where I'm going is that if you were a UFO journalist or investigator for decades, trying to get the answer to the question, and you feel like you're trucking along, you're doing your thing, and then someone like Corbell and these guys who are really part of this mainstream narrative now,
sure,
are really they're closer. I mean, they're on the cusp of us getting an answer, potential answer. Is there jealousy there?
I think there is. I don't know if it's jealousy as much as envy. But I get it. Like you pursue something for a long time, you're working towards an end,
right,
and then someone gets to that place in a fraction of the time.
Exactly.
that you didn't even get to yet, right? But I think that's the wrong way to think about it. It's like Richard Dolan, right? When he came on the scene, he was like, wow, look at this guy. He's an amazing researcher. He's a historian. His take on the study of ufology was different. It was fresh. So he gets super popular, and he's still popular. But he gets all the interviews, he gets attention. Same thing with Nick Pope for the longest time.
Right.
It just kind of happens. There's an ebb and a flow, and some people get the attention for a while, and then other people get the attention for a while, and it's that's just the way it is. I think I think as long as, I mean, if Jeremy Corbell, if he is an ethical person and everything he's doing is ethical, he's being honest, he's not stealing your work, and that sort of thing, then awesome. That's do what you have to do. I mean, it's kind of like TTSA, right? I mean, that was kind of the same argument that was made then.
Right.
But if Tom DeLonge, a superstar, can come and help move this narrative along, that's awesome.
Definitely awesome for us enthusiasts. But I've seen the people who are the researchers, the investigators, take their shots at.
I've seen it too, and I am sympathetic to like the work that they put into it.
Of course.
And I think there's a certain amount of offense that comes from once someone like Tom DeLonge comes onto the scene. It's awesome what he's doing, but it would be nice if he could acknowledge the other researchers out there, right? And the work that they're doing, just as a, hey, thanks guys for doing the work that you've done. I know I've kind of come in here, and that would be nice. Is it necessary?
Yeah.
No.
I see.
But it would be nice to bring other people on. Do a live stream on YouTube like we do, right?
Right.
And just to bring someone on like Nick Pope or Ryan Sprague or Kathleen Martin or whoever, just bring someone on.
That's great.
And share that glory with them. But because a lot of what they're doing couldn't have been done without the work,
of course,
of other authors.
Yeah. I think maybe it was with Tiffany, somebody having that conversation. It's like, I kind of look like it to the point where, all these researchers, investigators for years, decades or whatever, have been twisting that UFO alien jar, try to open it.
Sure.
And then you got the Corbells, the George Knapps, these guys come in, and maybe timing, they're the ones that make that final turn. Yeah. So.
Okay, back to the coffee and UFO questions.
Yeah, go.
Have you seen a ghost?
I think. I don't know. We had this kind of conversation on the show the other night where I said it was sleep paralysis. Tiffany thought I had a visitor.
What did you see?
Well, I had in the middle of the night, I'm live in an apartment. I'm on the third floor, and I awake to see a figure on the outside of my bedroom window, trying to raise the window up. And as I'm seeing this, I'm looking around, and I see everything. I see my room, everything the way it was when I fell asleep. Yeah. And I'm trying to get off the bed to get to the window, and I can't move. And I keep fighting it, and finally I kind of jar myself awake. And when I do, I'm actually practically sitting up. So yeah, I've had sleep paralysis. I think I had it one time several years ago, and I just kind of likened it to that. But it was, I was seeing everything, and as I was telling Tiffany this, I'm like, it was, sleep paralysis. That first time around, it was the potential succubus. It was just the old lady in the room.
Oh, like the old hag.
Hag, yeah. My wife, ex-wife now, wife at the time. I clearly was seeing her asleep next to me. I couldn't move. I tried to, and finally woke up, and the visual or the lady hag was gone. Yeah. So I kind of thought, okay, that's what it was. Tiffany, in hearing this, thought, no, I think you had a visitor. You actually had a visitor, and she's convinced that, because I've said with this show, with the Universal Secrets, is that it's her being an experiencer, that part of our show, the narrative of our show, is her journey. That we're gonna have all these guests on, and we're gonna hear all these stories, and Tiffany somehow, some way, it's gonna connect all the dots and help Tiffany understand and explain why she's having these experiences. And she seems to think now that I'm officially part of that journey for her, that whoever is visiting her has maybe are comfortable enough to start visiting me.
Does Tiffany consider herself a contactee or an experiencer? Or what term does she normally use?
She does experience her.
Experiencer.
Yeah, but she's. I'm not putting out anything out here that she hasn't told, but experiencer to the point where uh, pregnancy, fetus removed,
Mm-hmm.
uh, scar tissue in her lower area that only her doctor, could, during, Tiffany has said this. So again, I'm not disclosing anything, but Tiffany
Sure.
has mentioned that, when she was 19 or so, and her mother's in the room with her doctor, OBGYN, flat out asked her how many abortions that she had. She hasn't. Her mother acknowledged she hasn't. And her doctor, the evidence that she has seen, she came to the conclusion that Tiffany has had several. This is a 19-year-old Catholic kid. And so they were, that was part of the putting all the pieces together, that somehow, some way, she thinks also that she potentially, the hybridization program. You've had, I want to say, Sierra Neblina and Geraldine Roscoe, we've talked to them.
Yeah.
That kind of the thing that, that program that they say that they're a part of or were a part of. Tiffany thinks she is too.
Well,
And
Tiffany and Geraldine are in the documentary Half Light that I'm working on right now.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I want to ask you about that, because but Tiffany was like, well, she hasn't told me anything other than she's doing something, and we can leave it at that. When's that due? Is it time?
Oh man, I don't know.
It sounds interesting.
My plan was to have it finished by September,
Okay.
to get it into online festivals and things, because we don't have a budget. This is all
right.
it's super like virtually no budget. So all the interviews, except for a few that were local, we just did on Skype or on StreamYard or something like that. So and then I'm just using as much free materials as possible to put it together.
Respect.
So
yeah.
but time has been with work, and then we're planning on moving, so there's just a lot going on right now. So but hopefully by fall I'd like to get it for that season.
I did hear about that, so I'm definitely excited to see that. But yeah, you know her story, and but she's convinced that things that she's not going to be surprised if things start happening with me. Maybe not to the extreme that she experiences. When in the middle of the night she'll have what she says, a portal open up in her bedroom.
Yeah,
I've not had that. I've not had anything close to that. So I don't know. One weird thing about going back to that image that was outside my window, we were doing a pre-show thing, and we were, she was going online, pulling up some images to put in the studio for the whatever guests we had. And one of the images she pulled up was like the image of the Men in Black figure. And when she pulled it up, I immediately just kind of froze, because that image, the shape of the Men in Black in that image was exactly the shape on the outside of my window. So that was kind of weird, but so at
maybe
this point,
Tiffany's instincts are right. Maybe you did see something.
I can't say she's wrong. I mean, yes, but I don't know until someone high fives me in the middle of the night, fist bump, hey,
or
I'm
or like rips your blankets off. And,
or yeah, exactly.
Sure. Do you believe in cryptids, and have you seen one?
Oh man, do I I think there's things out there that have yet to, I guess, officially be identified.
Mhm.
You know, Bigfoot, that stuff. We were just talking about that recently, and I still kind of struggle with that one because, I tease, Bigfoot's the world champion um, of hide and seek.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it? And it's
I
and
love
the
that. I
stories.
love that. Yeah.
The stories have been around, but which, by the way, I've coined your phrase infotainment lots of time on the show, so I appreciate
It's a
that tagline.
yeah,
It-
sure,
it-
sure. It's important to include in that in the description, I think, of some of our
right.
shows, Yeah.
So the Bigfoot thing, I don't know. That's one I too have to. I don't believe in big. I believe in aliens definitely way more than I believe in Bigfoot. But
See, I mean, I'm totally open-minded
yeah,
to any of this, and if ever there's a TV show that will reveal evidence of paranormal, I think it's going to be the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. Have you been watching it?
I have been watching it.
Now, I know it's edited and I know it's infotainment,
Yeah,
right? But from what I've seen so far, it does seem that there are things that are quite mysterious. Now, maybe they can be explained scientifically,
hmm
but at the moment, um, the fact that they're entertaining a porthole uh, on this property, and they have some evidence to show that something odd is going on around what is it, Homestead 2, I think.
hmm
I think that's the show it's going to happen. I mean, we've seen UFOs already on that show. I mean, like
right.
that,
Yeah,
unless they're staging that,
right.
which I'm thinking they're not.
Well,
That's the only explanation I could see for that.
correct me if I'm wrong. The story with Skinwalker Ranch also, the government has funded the research there, right? Or in the
Yeah, it was
past?
NIDS,
Yeah.
the National Institute for Science Discovery, something or like
hmm
that for Bigelow, Robert Bigelow.
Right.
Robert
So,
Bigelow, who also years later gets money to research for ATIP, and so how does he get government money? Right? It's funny.
did you see Bigelow on Rogan's show podcast or
I saw a couple of excerpts.
clips?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
hmm
his narrative. I don't know if I remember right. I wasn't dazzled by the conversation he had with Rogan, so I have to go back and look at it. But it was like
Yeah.
I didn't seem like he provided any more info than what the show has. I would just think now people on these huge platforms now, albeit Rogan's a show, but his viewership is crazy. That if you got something to say, now's the time. Um,
Except when you're being contracted
well, yeah, if there's
by the
that's
government,
point.
that's a
If
little bit
there's,
different.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
Like right now, Lou Elizondo, he's not on salary, right,
Mhm.
for the government, so he's free of that. But if you're literally getting money from the government to research
Mhm.
whatever,
Right.
and he also has aerospace industry that he has to protect as well. But so for someone who is a legit businessman, billionaire, with these big contracts, respected within the industry, the fact that he's able to share as much as he has, I think is pretty cool.
Mhm.
You know, um, Elon Musk is another one that I think is pretty open about some of his ideas, which is, and maybe you just get to the point where you're rich enough and you just don't care. You just have to be careful just enough not to lose certain contracts, right?
Right. No, that's
Yeah.
a great point too. And you would think is, you know, as many times as he's putting stuff into space or getting to the point of space where
Mhm.
whatever he's doing, that he or someone of his crew would have seen or know something.
Yeah.
And so I'm I anxiously await this report coming out. Was it 25th?
Yeah. It's
But probably a lot will be redacted. But to me, it's still a big deal. The fact that you got a legitimate report that members of Congress has,
Yes.
to me, it's a big deal.
Okay, so my gut tells me the UAP task force is going to be as transparent as what we already have, meaning the Pentagon, the Navy has confirmed that these are legit unknowns,
Yeah.
right? And so all I ask is that they're honest about that, you know, and not turn this into a Condon report, you know, where they're and they're trying to cover it up and say that, you know, oh, we don't want to scare people, so let's redact, like you said, or let's avoid using certain terms. I don't think they have that mentality anymore, you know.
Yeah, what would 2021's version of swamp gas be?
I don't know.
We might find that out.
we might drones. It really is drones. That's what everybody's using.
That's actually right. That is kind of
it could be some kind of high tech drone. Well, yeah, but a drone still relies on aerodynamic, the laws of aerodynamics. So again, and how many drones are transmedium like that? That's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these high tech balloons. I've heard that narrative, which all that is way above my pay grade. I'm just talking about it after the fact, but
I do have to say that I think Bigfoot is quite possibly real. Sasquatch, whatever it might be. And if I go to the next level of speculation, perhaps it can evade detection, because if we assume that there are indeed multiple dimensions and realities, that maybe it is something that is able to slip in and out. And that's where I was going with the Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh,
like if indeed, like if at some point we can prove that there are ways that other realities can slip in and out, then maybe that explains the Bigfoot phenomena, and why we don't find bones and you know, habitats and that sort of thing.
That's a real good point. And then, to your point, a show like that might wind up giving us a lot of the answers.
Yeah.
I still say the three greatest questions in our lifetime is, is there a God? What happens when we die? And are we alone in the universe?
Is there a God?
There's a higher power. I buy into the higher power. I don't buy into an old man in the sky that gets worshipped every Sunday morning. I don't.
Right. I don't believe in a bipedal humanoid figure up there like this, because if you adhere to the Bible itself, in the Old Testament it says God is literally omnipresent. Like, Jesus explains that God, divinity, the spirit is everywhere. It's not, God is not this like biological being,
right?
So I'm with you on that. Do you think there's life after death?
I'm definitely open-minded to that, because obviously, we've had guests, topics, with ghosts, hauntings. So there does seem to be some something that the soul or your energy or whatever can, a next level that you go to. I'd like to think that there is. Me being an agnostic, I'm science until there is hard proof that that there is. It is kind of depressing to think that the last time I take a breath will be it, and from that point on it's just nothing, so that and then the are we alone in the universe? Of the three, actually, I think we're going to potentially get the answer to the alone in the universe, first, sooner than later.
So you don't think we have the answer
to the alone in the universe?
Mm-hmm.
Not until it just. Yeah, I know we're not. In my heart, in my mind, I believe we're not alone. But until, I guess using the old man in the sky narrative until an ET, is buzzing by my house, or the UFOs buzzing by my house, waving at me.
Yeah.
That's to me the answer.
Cool. Let's wrap it up, man. Do you want to leave us with anything?
Just always enjoy talking to you. You and I, we do get to chat, off show, through text or whatever, and definitely a pleasure getting to know you. Enjoy your show. I do my best to tune in every Sunday night. And
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
I'll probably steal an idea or two from you every now and then.
Go right ahead, man.
Until I get that cease and desist from you.
I'm talking to my lawyers now. But in the meantime,
in the meantime.
Well, you know what I love about your show too? I just because it's the two of you, it does make it more of like you're just kind of hanging out at a diner having a conversation, and I enjoyed that aspect a lot.
Have you ever done a show where you have another co-host? Is that always been?
Carl in the past has co-hosted with me on Paranormal Now, but that was before we were doing the video stuff.
Yeah.
So every once in a while she come on. Heidi Hollis has co-hosted with me. And that's pretty much it. I was going to say Rita Louise, but I don't think we co-hosted, but she's substituted with me, which substituting is something that I'm a fan of, but others, as we know, are not.
So, but you prefer to be the one-man band?
Oh yeah, no, it's a different format. That's why I do Coffee and UFOs, like round tables, or even on Paranormal Now we have a round table. So then it's less about the one-man band, and it's more, But what I like about the Paranormal Now format, the singular anchor host thing, is that you can really kind of direct the conversation in a particular way, and sometimes you just you hear something that somebody says, and it's just you with them, so you can ask them questions that maybe you didn't think about. And
there's times when Tiff and I are doing the show, and I've got this a kind of a narrative I'm trying to go on in this narrative, and then something the guest says makes Tiffany jump in and ask a question, and then we just go in a total different direction, which is fine.
Oh yeah.
But
But sometimes you just go with what, when you hear something really interesting, that's what you have to roll with. And for me, it's all like the tempo of the show is extremely important.
Right.
And also scheduling. So, you guys, it's two of you plus whomever. Those are three people that have to schedule. With me, it's much easier, Right. Yeah.
I'm curious, when you're scheduling your show right now, how far out do you have your guest book?
It depends what time of the year. I was 3 months out a little while ago.
That's kind of where we're at.
But I'm gonna all right, I'm gonna wrap it up now. I'm getting a wave.
The wifey is interjected. Oh,
the love of my life. Yes.
Yeah.
No. She's just
honey.
She's just waving hello. She's saying hi to Kevin. So
how about good stuff, my friend.
Yes, you too, brother.
Always good talking to you.
You too. All right. Well, if anybody wants to find out more about Universal Secrets, go to KGRAdb.com/Universal Secrets.
Universal-Secrets.
Universal-Secrets.
That'd be us.
All right, cool.
All right, my friend.
So that's it.
Yes,
cheers and peace and love, everyone.
All right. Thank you.